Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Barely There Theater, where we present theater to you, barely. Up this week, a rehearsal process of this month's play. The audio presented here is a mostly unmastered recording, with any changes or omissions made at the request of those being recorded. This is to help facilitate a safe and creative rehearsal space where ideas can flow freely in the moment. There will be a brief message at the end of rehearsal, so stick around. We hope you enjoy the process.
Floating magnet.
I'm gonna hit record. Hop on over to this chair just so we can. This can all be a part of the rehearsal process.
This right here? Oh, here we go.
Okay. Also be adjusting our levels while we talk. So to answer your question, I wrote this several years ago. Several years ago. I think it would have been 2015.
Oh, wow.
This was like the second thing I ever wrote.
For real?
In its entirety. Like, there were like, I shouldn't say the second thing, because I had written like 10-minute plays and like little shorter things, but this was the first like, one of the first like bigger pieces that I wrote that was like a standalone work.
Mm-hmm.
The prompt for it was the QC Theater Workshop was wanting to do something or other. I forget entirely what it was, and they're like, we need like a one-person something or other before this event. And so I was like, I could write something for that. So I like sat down, and in an afternoon I wrote the original version of the script, which is like twice the length of this one.
Really? Wow.
Because I think I was like, you know what, I'll write a one-person show for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what would that show be? And I don't know how the idea came to me, but the idea was, what if when I got hit by my semi in my car accident, what if my spirit still ended up at the theater and I had to finish the work on whatever that show was. So that was where the initial concept came from.
I thought that was interesting how you put that in there.
Yeah. And so part of what I was going for was spirit got stuck in the theater, just because theater folks are superstitious.
All right.
So, to give like the backstory of like a theater ghost. And so I wrote the initial draft, and it was like 40 plus minutes long. It was way too long. I sent it to the workshop, and Tyson Danner was there at the time. This is how long ago it was.
Okay.
And he was like, I like this script, but we were looking for something kind of funny. I was like, this is kind of funny, but if you're looking for something that's like funny, this is not what you're wanting. No. So that's fine. I will have the script for later. I sat on it for a while, and when I was at college with my roommate, he and I, we did like a night of one acts where we each did like 2 one-act plays, about 30 minutes each. So it was like a full night of theater.
Oh, wow.
This was one of the pieces of the night. And it was initially the original script, and it was just so long that my friend Christine, who was directing it, she was like, you have to cut like half of this script because it's so tremendously long. And so the version we're working from today is the cut version.
The cut version.
Cut version, because the original one was very much the work of someone who was still trying to figure out how to write, because there was just a lot of filler that didn't really add to the overall. It added to like the feeling of the script, but it didn't really add anything substantial to it.
Right.
And so one of the notes I got was like, ask yourself, does this really add to anything to the story? And as I was going through, it's like, oh, a good chunk of this doesn't add anything. So I started just pulling stuff out, and so it went from like, I think like initially like a 16-page script to what it's now, barely 9.
Wow.
And so, all that being said, as we're going through today and working on this script, there will be lines and stuff that I don't like. We're not necessarily going to rewrite them, but I am going to highlight them and be like, this is where I've grown and where I've learned. So this isn't necessarily the best script. It's creaky and rusty in parts, but I still think the overall concept is good, especially for what I want to do with the show, which is have you and Cassidy do your own versions of it.
Right.
Something I want to stress is that this is not. I don't want this to be like a competition to be like, oh, who did what better. What I want the folks to be is who did what differently.
I like that
because there's in art there are no winners and losers. Because even if you have someone who gets like an Academy Award, you can still have hundreds of thousands of people who watch that performance be like, Jack Nicholson won for that. He sucks in this. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Why did Sandra Bullock get The Blind Side?
Right. Like even if someone like wins an award for something that's art, it doesn't mean it's the good or best. It just means that the committee of people giving that award liked it for whatever reason.
I love seeing different interpretations of the same piece, you know?
Mm-hmm. And that's really what I want to do with this piece, is because I've always just been so fascinated by the concept of like what do different actors bring to a script, but I've never been able to explore it in any meaningful way, because it's kind of shitty to be like cast in a show and be like there's also been someone else cast in your part to see how it goes. You guys have to split your performance time, you guys have to split your rehearsal time, like it's like getting a halvesy on a show you're in, and that's not a great feeling. So like ethically there's no real way to do this like in front of a live audience.
Right.
So we're doing it digitally. You and Cassidy's the play, the performance you guys will both be releasing it the exact same day, and then the rehearsals will be coming out in the following weeks.
Love it.
But because I was trying to figure out how to schedule it for the month, I was like, I could do like a play, rehearsal. And I was like, that defeats the point if I'm still staggering them, so they're like separately. So the plays go up at the exact same time. Rehearsals will come out later. So that way people can hopefully listen to them at the same time and kind of be a part of this process of like assessing, how are these pieces different? How are they good or better?
Now, when you wrote this, so Max, did you pull Max from Lend Me a Tenor? Because I know you were just using that like as an example.
No, the original names for the characters were actor and character.
Yeah.
So it was like actor as character. Part of what I was going for with that was to kind of try to keep it elusive and like hazy, but as I was rereading it, I was like, I don't know that really... It's like confusing and not necessarily a fun way. And so it was like, I was trying to, as I was like rereading it through, as I sent you the updated version of this, I was like, wait, actor's character? No, it's hold on, which one is it?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't even actor as character, it would switch between actor, character. And it was just kind of, at least for me, it was hard to keep straight. So I decided to do, the actor's name is Max, but the role they're playing in the show is also named Max.
Okay.
So Max is Max. I think there's a lot of fun ambiguity to play with in that.
Right.
In that character name.
Tons.
So the central premise for me is because the overall plot is it's a ghost discovering that they're dead and trapped in a theater.
That's why I thought it was cool that there was that the lines were blurred between character actor, because that might be what it's like if you're stuck in a theater as an actor.
And also there's the there's the line between character and actor. There are the lines between life and death, which is like what Max is trying to navigate. For me, really, the central premise is where does an actor begin and end versus a character, which is honestly kind of fun now that this is what I'm using the script for to explore that. Now that I say it out loud, that was not entirely intentional on my part to pick the script for that reason, but that's I think very nice.
I love that though. Where does the actor end, character begin? Where does the character end, actor end?
Because I think about when we were in Prescription Murder together, and for the first 2 weeks, I had a totally different... What was your character's name?
Dr. Fleming.
Dr. Fleming, thank you.
Yes.
Adam and I were in a show together called Prescription Murder. I played the Columbo, the investigator, detective person. And for the first 2 weeks of the rehearsal, I had a completely different Dr. Fleming. And then they dropped out of the show, and Adam very graciously stepped in to take on a lead role almost halfway through the rehearsal process. And what was fun for me was trying to reconcile the Fleming you were doing versus the Fleming I had been trying to act across for 2 weeks.
I hear they were very different.
Very, very different.
Yeah.
So this is also kind of just a seedling of that.
That's so interesting, though.
Because actors bring such drastically different things to a role. It's the exact same role, but there's been like hundreds of different Romeos, hundreds of different Juliets.
Yeah.
And they all make it their own in some sense of the word.
Especially if they're making strong choices.
Mm-hmm.
Then they really make it their own.
Even if you have a director who is trying to get an actor to emulate another actor's performance, I really want you to do it like Leonardo did in the movie.
Right.
For whatever reason, if that was some reason a director wanted to do it that way.
Right, exactly. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I can.
If it was an actor trying to emulate Leonardo's performance in the movie, it would still ultimately be that actor's performance because you're not Leo as much as you might want to be.
As much as you want to be Leo, you're always going to be yourself. I think that's really a really cool concept.
And so,
should we read through it?
Yes. So what we'll be doing is I'm refreshing myself on the email I sent you and Cassidy.
Sure. Yeah.
What we'll be doing is we'll be kind of borrowing a style of reading that I learned about in college, which is just taking everything a page at a time.
Love it.
Literally just start of the page, stop the page, if that's where the story started and ended.
Mm-hmm.
What do we learn from that page?
Ooh, okay.
So that's the way we'll be working through and rehearsing the script. We'll go through, rehearse the script.
Mm-hmm.
We've done one of these before. We'll take a break. Then we'll come back and record it just in one big piece.
Gotcha.
But the piece that I actually want to start on is on page 7, the highlighted portion. I don't know if it's highlighted in your script or not.
No, not on 7.
It's the first paragraph that starts with "Truth be told" and ends with "Major bummer." This is a paragraph that was originally written. I don't know. I don't know who I had originally in mind for it, because I originally wrote this for me, but this piece doesn't even really align with who I am as an actor, so I don't know what this paragraph is for.
This is a lot of guys in high school.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the way I envision the characters. What if it's just straight dude accidentally got roped into a show?
Yeah, because of a girl he liked, and then
because of something he liked, and then he ended up dying working on that show, which I think adds just kind of a fun little tragic dimension to the character. But this paragraph outright doesn't work for Cassidy when she'll be reading this part, because she's not a straight dude who got into theater for women.
Exactly.
And even if she was a woman who got into theater for women, that's still a drastically different playing field. It doesn't work if you really put too much thought into it.
Yeah.
So this whole paragraph, both in your and Cassidy's version, is getting scrapped entirely.
Okay.
Sorry, you're okay. So what I want to do with this paragraph is this is the character's backstory, which we get very nearly at the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to start here with this paragraph and kind of build it with you as to who is your Max, why are they in this show, what's their incentive for being here, and then we'll hop back to the beginning and kind of use that as our foundation for what we do for the rest of the work.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
And I think let's try this. Let's have you just read this one paragraph, just those listening can understand what it is we're going to be totally scrapping.
Sure.
And kind of get a feel of what the paragraph is, what it feels like, and then we can totally disassemble it and repurpose it for what we want to do.
Sounds good. Okay. Truth be told, I auditioned because I was told there would be women. One of my friends who does a lot of acting, he was telling me about how if you want to meet women, theater is the place to be. They're all hot and all the guys are gay, so you have way better odds if you're straight. The friend who told me this is gay, incidentally. So I Googled auditions in my area and I saw this theater was holding auditions for their season. So obviously I rushed out, got a haircut and auditioned. They told me I had a great audition. They are probably disappointed with what they ended up getting, so I thought I was set. I had a great audition. They had all these cool shows in the lineup. I was bound to meet a hot lady, but here I am, alone, doing a one-man show. by myself. No women. Major bummer.
So that's Max as he was originally written. They were originally written because it's now a gender neutral character.
Interesting.
So their whole incentive to get into theater was they just wanted to meet
a
women, girl. And
yeah.
so I think what I get from this paragraph, because it's been so long since I've written this that I've lost whatever intention I might have had.
Oh yeah, I
initially.
understand.
So
yeah.
I had an intent at some point when I wrote this, but the way I read it now is that like this is someone who like didn't have any luck with the women, trying to like get a girlfriend, trying to get a partner or whatever, and so their friend was like, listen buddy, if you're really that desperate, try theater. Like
right, it's like a last resort.
Desperate for straight men in there.
Desperate for straight men. Yeah.
And so and then he goes out, auditions, and he gets cast in a one-man show. He's like, well, this defeats the whole fucking point of why I'm here.
Right.
But he still saw it through to an extent where he has most of his lines memorized. He was planning on doing the show. So, like, even though it wasn't what he wanted, there's still something that connected with him and this whole acting thing.
Yeah, it's more than just how I said before. It's like, oh, it's like those guys in high school. But it's more than that. He, like, went out, got a haircut, got all ready for this audition. Like, he actually cared.
Like, he put in the effort to actually, like, try.
Then
he totally got what he did not want.
Exactly.
Which is also, I guess, also kind of foreshadowing of him dying, which is not, I'm assuming, what he wanted when he initially auditioned for this.
Right. No women.
So, if we take this as a whole, this paragraph alone, it's a character who thought they were going to get one thing and ended up getting something totally different. Do we like that for your Max? Is that a kind of a theme we want to keep, or do we want to just totally jettison it and try something different?
It's a nice entry point. Because then, obviously, he's getting something he didn't initially go in for, right? But perhaps he's okay with what he got. Because he's kind of stuck there, so he's kind of forced to explore the thing he didn't want to get. Which, yeah, because in the end, really, he put himself in this situation because of what he wanted. It's almost like the theater gods are showing him. It's like, maybe that's not really what you wanted, though. Maybe you were looking for something else entirely. That it wasn't in women. It's not even a gender thing at all. It can start out that way, right? Looking to meet women. But there's something within him that he's figuring out himself as he's talking out loud.
As he's going through all this.
And so it's interesting that this is here in this area of the script, because I can see it being at the very beginning, almost like a prelude.
But we don't get it until basically the end.
Right.
Like they are, they're in the wrapping, they're wrapping up.
They're wrapping up, yeah. So I wonder if when this has been done before, and it got to this part in the script, did it add anything for the character, for the audience to understand the character? Of like, oh, I get it. This informs a lot of what he's doing before.
I think so. I think this paragraph is kind of a key that helps decipher the rest of the show, because if we just flip very briefly back to the first page. Like they make it a paragraph before they break character.
Right. Yeah.
And then they spend most of the first page talking as themselves before they hop back into character.
And a lot of apologizing too.
And like probably as I'm flipping through, it's probably about half and half. But like if half of a one man show is the actor breaking character to just address the audience as themselves, that was something I felt needed to be addressed at some point, which is, why is this actor consistently breaking character, forgetting their lines, acknowledging that they're fucking all of this up? And so for me, I was like, I have to have a justification somewhere. And just as I was writing, I guess that's where this landed, is towards the end, is to be like, oh, that's why this character is breaking character.
That makes sense. I think it's sweet how innocent he almost is to everything that's going on in theater, that's happening around him. He's very innocent and very matter of fact about it, but I like that approach to it.
So do we want to keep, for your rendition of the character, do we want to keep that this is... Do we want to keep that their goal was to find women, or do we want to restructure it and
perhaps
have this be, you know, a gay character? And if Max is gay in this version, that obviously has to change their context of why they auditioned, because if they're gay, it's not to meet women. And if we're being real, if you're gay in theater, you don't have to look very hard.
You
to
don't
find
have to look
someone.
very far at all.
You found your community.
Yeah, you're right there.
So it's if Max is gay, which it sounds like maybe that's where we want to take it. Okay.
He's probably looking for something else.
Okay. So then what is he looking for?
Something, he's probably having some sort of external crisis.
Okay. What might that be?
He probably perceives it to be outside of himself, but it's probably not. It's probably internal. And maybe a friend told him, maybe a doctor told him to get involved with something, or a friend's like, why don't you get involved with something? Or,
so maybe
he's
to fill in the gaps of experiences in my life, maybe it's he's suffering from depression, anxiety, some kind of mental illness. We don't really need to get
some kind of mental
with it,
illness.
but he has something that's an internal problem that someone's like, maybe this external source can help with it.
Exactly. And I'm thinking maybe something like he doesn't feel any sense of belonging. And a lot of people, at least who have experience with theater, I know I've recommended to people like, oh, like it's a great community. Like if you want to get involved, like if you need a sense of belonging, or like in some way, try to get involved in whatever. But theater, if you're artistic, is a great outlet too.
The light bulb moment that just went off in my head as you were speaking, and I love that this is the direction you went, is that if you are suffering from depression or anxiety and someone says, you know, theater is a really great community where you can meet like-minded people and you can find people who you can connect with. And so you're like, okay, great. So you go out and audition and then get cast in a one-person show. I think there's a special kind of irony in that.
Yeah,
which is, to me, almost matches kind of the feeling of this original paragraph, because it is ultimately all irony. I had this one reason to come out and do this, to audition for this, and then I got the opposite of what I wanted.
The exact opposite.
And I think this is a nice a nice segue, is that they have an internal internal problem, and so friends around them are like, hey, try theater, and then they're like, great, and then they're like, oh well, I'm alone now, so
I'm alone.
I don't know that this gets me any closer to where I needed to go.
Exactly. And it's like you can't, the answer is always inside, I suppose, but in theater you can talk it out, literally talk it out to people. And sometimes it's almost like he's in his own, if he is a ghost, right, and he's dead, he's almost like his own little internal fragmented world of like all these different parts of his psyche that he's speaking to, that he includes, that he thinks is outside of himself, but really he's including them as his own. When I first read through this, I thought, well, this is a very fragmented person, you know, like at first, like they're, and then I got the idea, maybe they're ghosts, they're not really in this reality. But it fits even more if they were trying to find some place where they could consolidate all these parts of them that they want to pull together so they can feel like they belong somewhere. And instead, they're really put out there on the edge with like naked almost. And it's like, I'm forced now to sit in the feeling of what it feels like to really not know.
I love that. I think that's the foundation and the context we can restructure this paragraph around.
Awesome.
Because I don't think we need to do too much work to make this paragraph work. So if we do, truth be told, I auditioned because I told there would be community. Like, we only need to change a word there.
There would be community.
So let's go to the second sentence. But one of my friends who does a lot of acting, he was telling me about how if you want to meet women, theater is the place to meet. So,
if you
so is it one of Max's friends? Is it a doctor? Who told him to go out and seek community?
Who would he have gone to?
Well, that's there's a question in itself. Did he go to anyone, or was it a friend who's like, bro, I've seen you like shrink into yourself. You need to you need to get out. You know, there's
Right.
there's a distinction even between those choices.
Yeah, and then too, to even make the decision to follow the advice, it would have to be coming from somebody that he would trust. It feels kind of weird to say my doctor told me, because then it sounds like he's mentally ill. Got it. It's almost like a trope, but like my friend auditioned because I was told there'd be community. One of my friends who does a lot of acting, but maybe it's like one of my friends who. It would have to be like a close friend, a friend who knows him better than he knows himself, who can observe him, maybe is noticing that he's looking lost or disconnected, or like he's lost to himself. How would we word that? One of my friends
Who does a lot of acting, he was talking about how
if
you're feeling lost or lonely, theater is a great place to be.
Yeah. He was
Like, we don't even really need to drastically change the wording. We just need to change phrases to make it work for what we're wanting to do.
right. If you're feeling lost or lonely, theater is the place to be. Yeah, that's perfect.
And we'll just keep moving through this next sentence. They're all hot and the guys are all gay, so you have better odds if you're straight.
Ooh, this could be a fun one too.
So if the central premise is this is why you want to get in the theater, that's what the sentence is trying to accomplish. If we...
You're better odds of finding community here, essentially. Like, but why?
They're all hot and the guys are all gay. What's some general blanket statements we can make about actors?
Right, I'm thinking.
Everyone's got mental illness and
everyone. Everyone's
everyone's fucked up.
Everyone's fucked up, and everyone. Wait, something about like everyone's fucked up, but everyone feels and loves a lot, or something like because there is the fucked up portion to actors, which is funny, but there's also the thing of like people they care so much. So if Max is looking for that too, to be seen, and he's going to be.
So maybe they're all hot and the guys are the gay. Everyone has tremendous baggage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you have way better odds if you're straight.
Everyone has tremendous baggage.
Everyone has tremendous baggage, so you'll be... with people like you. That's almost a shitty thing to say to someone.
Right? Wait.
What's a better way to put that?
Everyone has tremendous baggage, so you have... wait. Everyone has tremendous baggage. So you're in good company.
That's what I'm kind of trying to go for, but I'm trying to. What's the delicate way to say that to a friend?
I know.
Who you're like, okay, they're depressed. I want to make sure they get to.
Everyone has tremendous baggage, and you have way better.
Everyone has tremendous baggage, and they're open about it. Maybe I don't even know if that's true though, because.
Everyone has tremendous baggage. Wait, and you won't. What is a nice way to say that to a friend without saying,
"Hey, Sydney, dear,
Hey, Alex.
we need some help with writing."
How would you tell someone?
Yes.
So the original sentence is. They're all hot and the guys are all gay, so you have way better odds if you're straight. The context being that this is an actor who was told to get to audition because they wanted to find women. And so the justification being all the women are hot and all the guys are gay, so they're desperate for a straight man to meet and fall in love with. But we're not going in that direction. We're going to make Max gay.
Okay.
And so what Am and I have been discussing is that the context for his character to audition for the show is that they were suffering from some kind of mental illness, and a friend was like, hey, you should try theater. You can find a community there.
Yeah.
So we're trying to rewrite the sentence into...
Everyone has tremendous baggage. Instead of, they're all hot and the guys are gay, it's everyone has tremendous baggage. And then something else to make it, to take up. So you have way better odds if you're straight. But instead of saying, like, so you're in good company, something else that's maybe a little less abrasive.
Like if you're trying to encourage someone
maybe more
who
encouraging.
you've seen suffering from anxiety or depression to try theater, because it is ultimately
Yeah.
what I believe
A community.
a great community for people who
Totally.
are feeling alone.
Yeah.
What's the polite way to tell a friend that, like, you'll blend right in?
Everyone has tremendous baggage, and you'll blend right in.
Maybe.
No, maybe. I don't know. And there's always
everyone has tremendous baggage, and you won't be judged for it.
Sometimes you gotta pretend to be someone else before you can be okay with who you are.
I like that. Sometimes you have to pretend to be someone else before you can be okay with who you are. Everyone has tremendous baggage.
Maybe.
Or like sometimes it's nice to.
Sometimes it's nice to pretend to be someone else.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hold on.
You can get out of your own head.
You can pretend to be someone else and get out of your own head.
Yeah, you can pretend to be someone else and get out of your own head.
So what about that sentence?
So would that take up the "they're all hot until better odds if you're straight"? And then we could say something. The friend who told me this is.
We can probably cut the friend.
It's bipolar, incidentally. Just kidding.
We can probably cut the friend who told me this is gay, incidentally, because.
So then it's not everyone has tremendous baggage, but what was that again? The other one?
Sometimes it's nice to
pretend to be someone else.
Sometimes it's nice to pretend to be someone else.
All right, so let's just do the first few sentences we have.
Gotcha.
And then go from there.
Pretend. Second. Okay. Truth be told, I auditioned because I was told there would be community. One of my friends who does a lot of acting, he was telling me about how if you're feeling lost or lonely, theater is the place to be. Sometimes it's nice to pretend to be someone else.
And then we cut the friend who told me this is gay, incidentally.
Right.
And I think we can just move straight into, so I Googled auditions in my area.
So I Googled auditions in my area, and I saw this theater was holding auditions for their season.
So obviously I rushed out, got a haircut, and auditioned. Is your Max so unkempt that he would need to go out and get a haircut, or does he already have it together?
He's already having it together.
Okay.
He would probably need to psych himself up to go.
So then...
So he would probably need to... take a spin class, get a massage. I don't know. I saw this. So obviously, I rushed out. He probably bought an outfit.
Okay. So
Instead of getting a haircut.
So obviously, I rushed out, got a new outfit, and auditioned.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Got a new outfit instead of haircut. Got
Yeah,
a new
I like
outfit.
That. They told me I had a great audition.
They told me I had a great audition. They're probably disappointed with what they ended up getting.
I think that all still works, because I think it kind of still plays off of his whole he's not really doing a great performance thus far because he's constantly breaking character.
They're probably disappointed with what they ended up getting. So I thought I was set. I had a great audition, but they had all these cool shows in the lineup. I was bound to meet someone. Wait, I was bound to meet someone like me or a friend.
So as I mentioned earlier, that we were going to find instances where the writing was creaky and rusty.
Uh-huh.
I had a great audition. They had all these cool shows in the lineup. I don't know that someone new to theater would recognize what was a cool show or not.
Yeah, no, they
like
wouldn't.
even if they went through and read the synopsises of the shows that were
they would sound
on
fun.
offer,
Right.
they'd be like, I don't know if any of these sound cool.
Right.
So I think I just want to get while we're rewriting this paragraph, I just want to get rid of that because I don't know that someone new to theater would have any frame of reference for what a cool show is.
That's a good one. So it would just be, I had a great audition.
I thought I was set. Let's try this because I think I like it better. I thought I was set. They liked my audition because I don't think someone new would have any frame of reference for whether or not they had a good audition.
I thought I was set. They liked my audition.
I thought I was set. They liked my audition, and what?
They liked my audition. I thought I was set. They liked my audition and
offered me a role on the spot.
It's
something to add on to kind of
to add on to that
feeling of I thought I was set.
They liked my audition. Okay, so I thought I was set. They liked my audition.
And I clicked with the people I was auditioning with, and I
heard them laugh. I don't know if you would know what's good or not.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
But if you heard laughter, I feel like a lot of people audition for the first time. If they hear laughs, they think they're doing a good job.
Or if there was anyone else in the same room auditioning who were like, I heard you did good.
Oh, right. There we go. Like I was told.
Like,
yeah.
Like as I was leaving.
So I thought I was set. They liked my audition.
And one of the other actors there said I did a good job as I was leaving, or something along those lines. I like that idea.
One of the other. Did a good job as I was leaving. And then are we changing? I was bound to meet a hot lady.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
I think what I want to change that to is I was already making connections.
I like that. I was already making connections.
Oh, you look beautiful. I love you.
You don't need to shower.
Oh, Adam.
Oh, yes, she does.
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right,
Looking kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog, and I love you for it.
I love that.
Gotta go fast.
For
those of you listening, Sydney just sprinted out of the room, and it was very funny.
I was already making connections, but here I am, alone, doing a one-man show by myself.
No community.
Major bummer. Ooh, I love how that just changed everything.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and now let's read it through one more time with the changes we've put in place.
Gotcha.
See how it feels.
Truth be told, I auditioned because I was told there would be community. One of my friends who does a lot of acting, he was telling me about how if you're feeling lost or lonely, sometimes it's nice to pretend to be someone else. So I Googled auditions in my area, and I saw this theater was holding auditions for their season. So obviously I rushed out, got a new outfit, and auditioned. They told me I had a great audition. They're probably disappointed with what they ended up getting. So I thought I was set. They liked my audition. One of the other actors there told me I did a good job as I was leaving. But, as I was leaving, I was already making connections, but here I am, alone, doing a one-man show by myself. No community. Major bummer.
I think that sounds lovely. I think that gives us a really nice groundwork to build off of.
That's nice.
Okay, so now that we've done the hard work, let's start rehearsing it.
All right.
And like we did for the nose, we're just going to treat each page as a scene.
Got it.
So as we go through and rehearse, we'll go through. Here's what we'll do. I'll have you read a page. We'll stop. We'll discuss, and then we'll move on.
Gotcha.
So whenever you're ready, just take it away from that.
Okay.
From the first line.
Good evening, or afternoon, or morning, or dusk. I guess it's all a matter of perspective. Regardless of your beliefs on where we stand in the time of day, hello. So nice to see you all. Well, not all of you. Anyone behind the first row I can only see from the waist up, so I guess I really can't see you. Part of you, sure, but not all. So can I say it's nice to see you all? After all, I'm not seeing all of you, so it's nice to see you all front row. It's nice-ish to see everyone else. That's the thanks you get for not getting here early enough for the best seats, and they are the best seats.
Glug glug.
Someone wearing all black backstage handed this to me. Told me it was my prop. I don't recall rehearsing with this. Well, wow, that's good. I should probably take this time to apologize for my appearance. I realize I look unkempt, not entirely prepared for tonight's performance. I was in a car accident earlier. Not tonight, about a week ago now. Some would say that a week is enough time to recover and put yourself back together after something like that. Try not to look like a schlup. As far as I'm concerned, though, it takes about a week to get over something like that, so I should be put back together come tomorrow. Come back then. Do you want to stop there or keep going?
I think you might have a slightly old version of this script. Did you print off like the first thing I ever sent you of this? Because as you're going through, there's like lines. I'm like, I don't have that line in this version.
Oh, really?
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna come and look side by side to see just how different. Oh,
This might be an old version. Oh boy.
I've only made. Let's see here. Yeah.
Speech two.
Yep, because I got rid of all that. So.
Oh, actor. So I was like, but I'm seeing the actor character thing.
Ah, there we go. Okay. So
All right.
Okay. So here, let's do this.
Okay.
Just so we're working from the same text.
Yes. Thank you.
I will
I'm
give
sorry.
you this one.
Well, that was
There we go.
funny.
So that way we can, and then once we get back to that paragraph,
Perfect. I will go back to
we
this.
will.
You're probably sitting there like, what is he reading?
I was
Thank
well
you.
because like 90% of it's the same. And I was like, I don't have that line.
Okay.
Okay. So okay, back on the same page.
Here we go. Okay.
Um.
All right. Good evening. Good evening. Or afternoon. Or morning. Or dusk. I guess it's all a matter of perspective. Regardless of your beliefs on where we stand in the time of day, hello. And greetings. So nice to see you all. Well, not all of you. Anyone behind the first row I can only see from the waist up, so I guess I really can't see you. Part of you, sure, but not all. So, can I say it's nice to see you all? After all, I'm not seeing all of you. So, it's nice to see you all front row. It's nice-ish to see everyone else. That's the thanks you get for not getting here early enough for the best seats, and they are the best seats. Someone wearing all black backstage handed this to me. A bottle of beer. Told me it was my prop. I don't recall rehearsing with this. Oh well. Wow, that's good. I should probably take this time to apologize for my appearance. I was in a car accident earlier. Not tonight, about a week ago now. Some would say that a week is enough time to recover and put yourself back together after something like that. As far as I'm concerned, it takes about a week to get over something like that. So I should be put back together come tomorrow. Come back then. This is my first time acting. I hope you all bear with me. If I go blank for a little while, it probably means I forgot a line. Here, I'll demonstrate what that looks like so you can be prepared for it. You all may be wondering what this is all about. As far as I can figure it out, it's about someone who's had a bad life. Narrows it down, I know. They talk a lot, which I guess is good for a one-person show. The director assured me this is quite normal for theater, so I just took his word on it. My first time acting, the script is kind of weird, and it was an intimate process to get it here tonight. What else? There will be several points tonight where I ask questions of the audience. They're rhetorical, but please feel free to answer them. Whether or not you vocalize that answer is up to you. So, what do you all want? For me to quote Shakespeare? Wax philosophic? Wane lyrical? Make you think about your past, their future? Maybe you just want me to talk. Who did you think of when I said there? Who are you thinking of now?
Okay, and that's the page. In that first paragraph,
Yeah.
there's two so's I want to get rid of. So can I say it's nice to see you after all? Cut that so. Can I say it's nice to see you after all? Can I say it's nice to see you all? After all, I'm not seeing all of you.
So
it's nice. So it's like back-to-back sentences that start with so, and that is egregious to me now, rereading it, so we're cutting those two so's.
So to go part of you, sure, but not all, can I say it's nice to see you? Is that what you mean?
So I guess I can't really see you. Part of you, sure, but not all.
Part of
Can
you.
I say it's... So, like, that's like almost a half beat there. Like,
Got it.
Part of you, sure, but not all.
Can I say?
Yeah, it's like you being like, can I even say it if I can't really see you?
Right. Nice to see you after all. I'm not seeing all of you. and then cut that so again.
Yeah.
It's nice to see you all front row. Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And in particular, in that first paragraph, those 3 alls that are kind of back to back, kind of use those as like a bouncing point for rhythm almost.
Okay.
Part of you, sure, but not all. Can I say it's nice to see you all? After all, I'm not seeing all of you. Like to just kind of not necessarily punch those words, but just emphasize them a little bit to kind of like give us that rhythm to the line.
Yeah. I'm not seeing all of you. It's nice to see you all.
Oh, so probably something I should have mentioned before now is the central concept for the way this episode's going to sound is because I'm trying to make all my episodes feel and sound different.
Yeah.
The way I'm wanting this to sound ultimately is to sound like you're performing to an audience. So like at the top of the episode, instead of me doing my typical thanks for listening to Barely There Theater, I'm going to do it like I used to do the pre-show announcements at Playcrafters, like, how y'all doing tonight? And then there'll be like a whoa, like there will be audience laughing at you and like making sound reactions to you. Okay. Obviously we won't have that today, but I want this to feel like you are performing to an audience, and that's the way the episode will sound. It's an audience of the dead. It's other ghosts inhabiting the theater.
I love that. It will almost sound like that Virginia Woolf album?
Almost, yes.
Okay.
That's kind of also what I'm trying to emulate.
I like that.
Let's see, what else?
It's good. She doesn't apologize. Was he drinking, driving? Yeah.
That's a very good question. Was he? I know that later on in the script he does explain the story of the accident.
Right.
That being said, you know, if someone was drinking and driving and that led to their own demise, I could imagine that's they would leave that part of the story out.
Yeah, because the alcohol launches him into this apology about it, and then he brings up the car accident, and then
that's a really, I love that you acknowledge that, because that wasn't even something I was thinking about.
Oh, okay.
No, and I love that you bring that up, because that's what we're trying to do with this whole thing is what are you and Cassidy going to bring to this script?
Yeah.
So I love that interpretation. We can keep that.
Okay.
I also want to cut here. I'll demonstrate what that looks like so you can be prepared for it. Because there's no visual component to help indicate. Gotcha.
Yeah, you're right. Here, I'll demonstrate.
And if I set that music stand a little high, you can adjust it as needed.
Is it down here that you adjust it?
Yeah, either or. Yep.
Perfect.
There we go. Okay. Just that way you don't have to appear above.
So for a little while, it probably means I forgot a line. You all, what this is all about. Okay, gotcha. I know it's about someone's had a bad life.
Okay, and then the sentence, my first time acting, the script is kind of weird, and it was an intimate process to get here tonight. That's you rattling off a list. Like, that's kind of you recounting what you've already said so far. So it's like, let's see, it was my first time acting, it was a weird, like you just kind of a lot of you talking in the show when you break character is you recontextualizing what you just said and then getting yourself back on track. Gotcha. So there's a lot of moments like that where you're just kind of re-rattling off what's already occurred.
Gotcha. My days was kind of weird. It was but so points here. I was watching the audience for terrible place for us.
The last thing I want to focus on before we read this page again is to really make each voice sound even more distinct. You're already kind of doing it, but I want to push you further. Mm-hmm. The way I kind of envision the character within the play, like the imaginary play dialogue he's reading, is almost kind of pretentious, because there's a one-man show that I don't want to say I cribbed from, but I read right before reading this, and it left an impact on me, and I think that impact worked its way into the script. And that the character in that show is kind of just a pretentious, that's a word I use a lot. I don't know if that's the right word. It's just kind of someone they love the sound of their own voice.
That mid-Atlantic 1940s voice.
Kind of. Yeah.
I love the way I speak.
Good evening. Or afternoon. Not necessarily like that quite.
Or dusk.
formal, but like I want that shift between good evening. So I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Like, cause like immediately it's the same voice, but it's like, oh, okay, they've shifted out. It's like shifting down gears a little bit.
Right.
And so that way, we can get that nice shift from whether or not you vocalize that. That's up to you. So what do you all want? Or like, I'm exaggerating.
I like that
to
though.
help indicate.
So what do you want?
But I think that very clear distinction will only help our audience because they don't get any physicality.
Right.
Because when
they're gonna have to hear it.
The one time the script was done, it was as a one-man show. So like the actor, very talented man, he had like a lot of physicality that helped aid his performance, but we don't.
Right.
We don't get that perk. We're doing this the hard way. We're doing this on hard mode.
Right.
So we have to do it exclusively through the voice.
I love that though. So anytime we see Max as Max, we're the actor.
Yep.
Then Max is the normal dude. Got it. I like the distinction of the voice. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
And I like that you refer to Max as the actor, because I think the character he's playing, and this is part of the reason I changed it from character and actor, because the working on it, it gets very confusing to try to differentiate who is what.
Right.
But Max, I think is, if we were to take just the text of like the imaginary play he's performing, it feels like a play that's about theater in and of itself.
Yes, it does.
So I like that you use the word actor because it feels like an actor giving a one-person show, even though it's an actor giving a performance. There's so many layers.
It's like an actor's nightmare, Christopher Durang nightmare.
It's my living nightmare of any time I write a show, reality like just collapses in on itself. It seems. So this is kind of that because it's an actor pretending to be an actor pretending. There's so many layers that we could spend all day just really getting into the weeds with it. But we're not going to.
Okay.
But I like that you refer to him as an actor because I think. He's not just an actor, he's an actor.
He's an actor.
There's just that little bit of you're seeing intellectual theater, even though it's by the time the character. That's why I changed it. It's exactly why I changed it. It was so confusing. So by the time Max, as himself, breaks character, he is just totally deconstructing a lot of like the actor's story.
Right.
Because Max himself is not necessarily the best actor, otherwise he wouldn't be breaking character in the first place.
Right. Right.
This is a really we're almost an hour into it. We're still on the first page.
I love
this.
This is
I
good.
don't think I really anticipated going to this. What a dense script this is.
I really like deconstructing this.
I need to text Christine and give her a kudos for directing this because this is not easy.
Right.
Okay. All of that being said, hopefully the more we can build this framework, the quicker the rest of these notes will go.
Gotcha.
So let's just try this page again.
Okay.
See how it sounds, and then we'll keep going.
Good evening, or afternoon, or morning, or dusk. I guess it's all a matter of perspective. Regardless of your beliefs on where we stand in the time of day, hello and greetings. So nice to see you all. Well, not all of you. Anyone behind the first row, I can only see from the waist up, so I guess I really can't see you. Part of you, sure, but not all. Can I say it's nice to see you? All? After all, I'm not seeing all of you. It's nice to see you all, front row. It's nice-ish to see everyone else. That's the thanks you get for not getting here early enough for the best seats. And they are the best seats. Someone wearing all black backstage handed this to me. A bottle of beer. Told me it was my prop. I don't recall rehearsing with this. Oh well. Wow, that's good.
And can you give like like you don't like alcohol, but someone's handed you this prop, and you know what? By God, you're gonna make it work.
I don't recall rehearsing with this. Oh well. Oh, wow, that's good.
Yeah, good. Keep going.
I should probably take this time to apologize for my appearance. I was in a car accident earlier. Not tonight, about a week ago now. Some would say that a week is enough time to recover and put yourself back together after something like that. As far as I'm concerned, it takes about a week to get over something like that. So I should be put back together come tomorrow. Come back then. This is my first time acting. I hope you all bear with me. If I go blank for a little while, it probably means I forgot a line. Oh, you all may be wondering what this is all about. As far as I can figure it out, it's about someone who's had a bad life. Narrows it down, I know. They talk a lot, which I guess is good for a one-person show. The director assured me this is quite normal for theater, so I just took his word on it. My first time acting, the script's kind of weird, and it was an intimate process to get it here tonight. What else? Oh, there will be several points tonight where I will ask questions of the audience. They're rhetorical, but please feel free to answer them. Whether or not you vocalize that answer is up to you. So, what do you all want? For me to quote Shakespeare, wax philosophic, wane lyrical, make you think about your past, their future? Maybe you just want me to talk. Who did you think of when I said there? Who are you thinking of now?
That's good. I really like the direction we're pushing in. I think just a couple more notes, and then we'll flip to the page. Max is Max. I tone down the voice just a little bit and replace, like, if you the volume, bring it down with, replace it with a little bit of condescension almost.
Okay.
Like the actor, the character, whatever we want to call it, loves the sound of their own voice. And there's just that little edge of condescension to the audience. Like, oh, do you get what I'm talking about? I don't know that you do. And then I really like how you're taking Max as Max and you're kind of really slowing it down and chewing the scenery. And then Max is like, oh, I like that pace differentiation. Keep playing with that. That's a good direction to push in.
Okay, cool.
Let's push to the next page, which is just Max. There's no actor. Just Max.
I hope you're having a good time with this performance, with your life. I genuinely do mean that. Sometimes it's nice to hear kind words from a stranger, or half a stranger. You're all strangers to me, except for my parents, who are here tonight. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. That was my line. They're not actually here. I've been coming to the theater for years, mainly to support friends, but occasionally I do like what I see. I'm one of those people you hate. I sit in the back on my phone most of the time, but I'm sure to holler and clap and stand during the curtain call and my friend bows.
Change that to when my friend bows. Yet another.
Gotcha. When I'm sure to holler and clap and stand during curtain call when my friend bows. Every now and then I actually do see a play or musical that's so good it makes me think. Not about the script or the performance or anything, but the work that goes into it. I've always wondered when watching shows, I look at the lights and wonder, why are they pointed the way they are? Why are they using the colors they are? About why the sound designer picked that music for that scene change. It didn't really work for me. He had to know that when he picked it, that it wouldn't work. But the thing I wonder about most is the actors, the characters. I just sit there and I watch them talk and talk and talk. I glaze over the actual performances. I begin to wonder, where does the actor begin and the character end? How much of a performance is real? There has to be some truth to it, right? Right? Otherwise, what's the point of coming? I could go see a movie just as easily. I'm still going to a theater. I can still claim I'm cultured for doing it. No, there's a reason people still come. There's something to it. When an actor gets up here and performs for you, they're telling you a story. It might be the one the playwright intended. It probably isn't. There's another monologue about theater later on in the script, but it's from the character, not me. I don't really know if I like it, but hey, to each their own. Sorry. Still have some nasty whiplash from that accident. I've heard that it can come and go for years, so I'm looking forward to this. The guy who hit me was a real ass, ran a red light. Oh well, I lived, didn't I? Now you're probably wondering about this character I'm playing, right? Seems kind of weird, sort of off. Truth be told, there was this big monologue at the beginning explaining why they are the way they are. Truth be told, again, when I came out here and saw that I was actually about to perform for people for the first time, I panicked. I skipped the opening monologue. You all had no idea until I told you I did that. Good one. Okay, I'm going to double back. Do that quick bit and then jump back to where we're in the story. Please all pretend I didn't tell you I just skipped it. Jesus Christ.
Okay. I like a lot of that. I should have had a pen. I should have a pen or pencil so I can take notes as you're speaking so I can know what to say later.
I think this is interesting. He takes such a long pause out to be just him.
I also there's a couple things I want to highlight. And I'm gonna go grab a pencil real quick just so I can do this whole directing thing a little better than I'm currently. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. Notes for what we're currently working on.
Yeah.
Couple things I want to highlight. The line in the second paragraph, I've always wondered when watching shows, really punch wondered, because that sets up the next line.
I've always wondered in watching shows. Okay.
Like, make it an action verb. I've always wondered.
Always wondered in watching shows. Look at the lights.
Also, I want to change he had to know that when he picked it to they. I realize as we're listening to I am very male heavy on the background staff of the imaginary show, and I think it's little things like that accumulate and build in people's minds. So let's make it gender neutral.
They had to know that when they picked it that it wouldn't work.
Yeah. I think the last thing I want to highlight. There's no.
I love the question.
I want to do the second to last paragraph again. But the other thing I want to highlight is, hi mom, hi dad, that was my line, they're not actually here. This is the character referring to a line they have as themselves. I don't know. I don't know if this might be creaky as we get more into it. This might not work. How do I want that to read?
Do you want that to be Max's Max? As Max playing as Max's Max? That's super meta.
I'm thinking that.
Hi mom, hi dad. That was my line.
Actually, okay. You know what? That's a very good question. What we're going to do is the first chunk of that paragraph, through hi mom, hi dad.
Yeah.
That's Max's Max.
Okay.
And then you shift back into your regular real life, quote unquote real life. God, the script.
As Max.
Then you just shift back to Max. That was my line. They're not actually here.
Okay, got it.
So it's a continuation of that whole condescension from the previous page. What did you think of when I said there? Who are you thinking of now? I hope you're having a good time. Yeah, and just kind of a continuation of that beat.
Life.
And then you get through the hi mom, hi dad.
Hi mom, hi dad.
That's my line. They're not actually here. Yeah. I think that makes it flow a little better. So thank you for asking that question.
Yeah. Usually I do like what I see.
And I think that's a better way to cut that line, frankly. just so I can remember this for later. I want to work the sorry, still have some nasty whiplash paragraph, and then we'll move on to the next page.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, accident.
I think let's just run back one more time.
The-
I had notes, but I've lost them at
The
this
story
point.
still has. Sorry, still have
Yep,
some.
yep.
Sorry, still has some nasty whiplash from that accident. I've heard that it can come and go for years, so I'm looking forward to this. The guy who hit me was a real ass. Ran a red light. Oh well, I lived, didn't I? Now you're probably wondering about this character I'm playing, right? Seems kind of weird, sort of off. Truth be told, there was this big monologue at the beginning explaining why they are the way they are. Truth be told again, when I came out here and saw that I was actually about to perform for people for the first time, I panicked. I skipped the opening monologue. You all had no idea until I told you that I did that. Good one. Okay, I'm going to double back, do that quick bit, and then jump back to where we are on the story. Please, I'll pretend I didn't tell you I skipped it. Jesus Christ.
Okay. I like that. I think I want to add... I want to make sure when I was actually about to perform for people for the first time, attach the meaning of for the first time to for people as opposed to I panicked.
Got it.
Because as we've established later on, he's suffering from some kind of vague mental illness, so this is not the first time he's panicked. Mm-hmm. This has, however, the first time he's performed for people. So just really make sure the meaning of for the first time connects to people.
To that, and then I panicked is a separate thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So just do that. And I think I like the idea of once you say I panicked, you realize the confession you just made, and you're like, I skipped the opening. Like, it's like now it's just like word vomit that it's just falling out of you. If you've ever had that moment where like,
yep,
and you're like, oh, and it just keeps coming out, and you're like, okay. You know what? I'm gonna hop back. We're gonna do that. Then we're just gonna keep on going. So to kind of add that layer of like have to add that layer of like the character realizing they're fucking up and that frankness of like trying to cover it up, and I think there's just a lot of fun that can be had in there.
Awkward.
So let's just do let's just do this paragraph again.
Sure. Sorry. Ugh, I still have some nasty whiplash from that accident. I've heard that it can come and go for years, so I'm looking forward to this. The guy who hit me was a real ass. Ran a red light. Oh well, I lived, didn't I? Now you're probably wondering about this character I'm playing, right? Seems kind of weird, sorta off. Truth be told, there was this big monologue at the beginning explaining why they are the way they are. Truth be told, again, when I came out here and saw that I was actually about to perform for people for the first time, I panicked.
Perfect.
I skipped the opening monologue. You all had no idea until I told you I did that. Good one. Oh, okay, I'm going to double back, do that quick bit, and then jump back to where we are in the story. Please, I'll pretend I didn't just tell you I skipped it. Jesus Christ.
Good. Okay, I like that. I love the changes we made to that page. Let's keep going.
Hello all. My name is Max. My last name doesn't really matter. It could be yours, coincidentally, but it's mine, incidentally. I never went to college, and I dropped out of high school. Growing up, I moved 13 times. I don't mean moving houses either, but moving homes. Having to relearn the accent I should talk with, the lingo I should use. For example, what do you call it when a building is opposite another on street corners? I call it catty corner. People out east call it kitty corner. People down in Texas call it the one next to the gun store. Like 13 times is a lot to move. It's even more when you're split between parents. Dad went one way, Mom went another. They flipped a coin each year to see who got me. I moved 13 times, so I never made friends. I wasn't good at it. I was good at making people think we were friends. I got really good at conning them. You'd be amazed at how much people will bet on a coin toss. $10. Their kid. It was in high school that I realized I really had a knack for taking people's money. So I decided to leave. Headed for the mountains where the trees touch the sky and people are foolish enough to try to touch the sky as well. The first thing I noticed about the mountains was the rain. It rains different up there, sideways and up. It's as if that's how the rain is supposed to travel, and it puts on a spectacle for those of us watching. The clouds seem confused. We're so close. That reminds me of this vacation I took to the mountains a while back. Okay. I say vacation, but really my roommate wanted to go. We go up there in the winter. He was big into snowboarding. I wasn't. One particular night, I went out for a few drinks. I hit up one of the local bars, same as every other night. A real hole in the wall. There's nothing like drinking in the tourist towns. These bars have everything. Even the angry drunks will tell you a funny joke. Oh, beer's out. Be right back.
And then for this, you'll actually like walk around the corner to simulate the effect of your voice being far away.
Gotcha. Hello? Hello, lady? Guy? Hey, person in black? Where do you keep the terrible beer? Oh, never mind. I found it. This stuff is truly terrible, but I gotta quench my thirst somehow. You would think water would be the drink of choice, but the only liquid I can find is nice, soothing beer. It's weird. Before I started, it was buzzing with activity back there. People getting dressed, stagehands running around in black, but it's empty now. Seems like I'm the only one here.
Okay. Couple notes. God, the pretentious character. So what I wanted to do when I originally wrote the script was really make the voices feel distinct. So that's why the pretentious character has such kind of...
Yeah.
It's just such a distinctly different way of talking. I hear it now, and it's just I could have done it better, but I have to let go of the past. I didn't know entirely what I was doing at the time. There's one sentence in particular that the really pretty lines, the lines that I actually like the most from the script, all belong to the actor. One of them being, "The clouds seemed confused. We were so close." I think that's just kind of a very lovely thought.
Okay.
There's a nice poetry to it.
Seem confused. We're so close. Ooh, I love that too.
And there's also another phrase that I think just kind of lands nicely on the ear, where the trees touch the sky and people are foolish enough to try as well.
Yeah.
I think I want to cut to touch the second. So I want to cut to touch the sky after try. So the sentence reads, "Where the trees touch the sky and people are foolish enough to try as well." I think that just kind of flows a little better.
Where the trees touch the sky and people are foolish enough to try as well. Foolish enough to try as well. Perfect.
Because we already have established what it is they're trying to touch. We don't need it again.
Right.
And then kind of taking a beat to let that sentence land before moving on to the first thing I noticed about the mountains.
Yeah.
Because once you headed for the mountains, once you say that line, I think it kind of shifts in tone, because the character, the actor,
right.
Yeah, this changing it to Max and Max was a good call. The
Yeah.
further we get into this, the more that was prescient on my
Right.
part. I think that character, they really connect with nature. I think that's maybe I'm thinking of the original version, but for me, they really connect with nature. So once they move to the mountains, they kind of lose some of that harsh tone that they have with the audience, because they like the mountains, they like the clouds, the trees, the rain, because that's not people.
Right.
I think the condescension of that character also comes from their as we get from this first paragraph, they did not have a good upbringing. They did not have a good.
Right.
And we can argue that this is a character. with a play within a play. So like, how real is their life? Well, as the
Right.
ones telling the story, it's as real as we want to make it.
Exactly.
And so I think with this context of like their childhood and moving all over the place, they don't have a lot of faith in people.
No.
Because we even have that little line about how like you'd be amazed what people would bet on a coin toss.
They're children.
And I think the implication with the children is like there were some years where like the parents would flip a coin to decide who had to deal with their kid for a year.
Right.
And I think that's just a tremendous burden for a kid to bear.
Yes.
So I think once we shift into the mountains, that's very much they like nature because nature isn't people.
Right.
And I think
Exactly.
that sounds nice.
Yeah, I do too. I like how it makes Max think of something.
And it makes him break character
Yeah.
to think about his own time in the mountains. To fill in the gap of what used to be here, there used to be like a whole page monologue about Max's vacation, and there's like someone he met in the bar, and they went out into the snow after the bar and froze to death, and they didn't find it was one of the things that my friend Christine was like, bro, you got it, because it was like 2 pages of just monologue, and she was like, this, you have to cut this. It's cool, it's atmospheric, but we have to keep this moving. So that there used to be a whole other chunk here that's gone now, and I think that's okay. I think it's good even.
I do too.
But in the bottom half of the page, there's a couple things I want to highlight. Hey lady, guy, that sentence, that's the first hint we get of something kind of supernatural happening, because the context is the stage crew member handed you the spear bottle right as you were going on stage.
Yeah.
And now that you're trying to think of who handed it was, you're like, hey, lady, guy, because the more you think about it, you're like, were they a lady? Were they a guy? It kind of brings in that supernatural element of like,
Oh, wait.
who am I here with?
Exactly.
Which then kind of feeds into the end of the paragraph. It was buzzing with activity back there, but now it's empty.
Anyone here? And he doesn't know. Yeah, he doesn't really know yet what's going on.
This is the very first hints of that self-awareness starting to creep into
Gotcha.
the whole I'm dead thing. So I just want to make sure those beats land.
Okay.
Because you pivot from hey lady, guy, hey person in black, because that's the one thing you're sure of.
Right.
They were a crew person wearing black. I know that much. I also want to punch nice soothing beer, because you do not like beer, but it's the only liquid you have, so it's nice soothing beer. And also as an actor, I have to imagine having beer is your only way to like wet your throat. It's just fucking excruciating.
That's gotta be awful.
So to add that layer of like, God, I hate that the only thing available to me is beer, which is, I think, plays nicely into your whole drunk driving. I think that adds a nice layer to it.
I do too.
Because that's not present necessarily in the text, but we can add it in subtext.
Yeah.
I gave you a lot of notes. Let's just do this whole page one more time, and then we'll keep moving.
Hello, all. My name is Max. My last name doesn't really matter. It could be yours coincidentally, but it's mine incidentally. I never went to college, and I dropped out of high school. Growing up, I moved 13 times. I don't mean moving houses either, but moving homes. Having to relearn the accent I should talk with, the lingo I should use, for example. What do you call it when a building is opposite another on street corners? I call it catty corner. People out east call it kitty corner. People down in Texas call it the one next to the gun store. 13 times is a lot to move. It's even more when you're split between parents. Dad went one way, Mom went another. They flipped a coin each year to see who got me. I moved 13 times, so I never made friends. I wasn't good at it. I was good at making people think we were friends. I got really good at conning them. You'd be amazed at how much people will bet on a coin toss. $10. They're kid. It was in high school that I realized I really had a knack for taking people's money. So I decided to leave, headed for the mountains. where the trees touch the sky and people are foolish enough to try as well. The first thing I noticed about the mountains was the rain. It rains so different up there. Sideways and up. It's as if that's how the rain is supposed to travel, and it puts on a spectacle for those of us watching. The clouds seem confused. We're so close. That reminds me of this vacation I took to the mountains a while back. I say vacation, but really my roommate wanted to go. We go up there in winter. He was big into snowboarding. I wasn't. One particular night, I went out for a few drinks. I hit up one of the local bars. Same as every other night. A real hole in the wall. There's nothing like drinking in tourist towns. These bars have everything. Even the angry drunks will tell you a funny joke. Oh, beer's out. Be right back. Hello? Hello? Hey. Lady? Guy? The person in black. We're ready to keep the terrible beer. Oh, never mind. I found it. Oh, this stuff is truly terrible, but I gotta quench my thirst somehow. You would think water would be the drink of choice here, but the only liquid I could find is nice, soothing beer. It's weird. Before I started, it was buzzing with activity back there. People getting dressed, stagehands running around in black, but it's empty now. Seems like I'm the only one here.
Good. I thought I had one. Nope. Keep moving. Next page.
Are any of you here with me on this lovely evening? How many of you are at home with your bills, your pets, your life? How many of you hung your troubles at the door and just came for a quality night of theater? That's one thing that bothers me. We go out to avoid our problems. Tell me, the last time you went to a movie, was it to get away or to be reminded about your problems? To get away, why else would you go? But now, it's all capes and superpowers and robots taking over the world. The last one might not be a movie soon. We can go to the movies to see life bigger and brighter than it possibly can be. But anytime you go to the theater anymore, it's all depressing. I think it's hard to watch, but I guess people like these types of stories, else theaters wouldn't be selling as well as they are. Ticket sales are just skyrocketing. Theater is magical that way. It can transport you to whole new places, teach you new things. It can teach you to appreciate what you have in life. You may not have as much as your neighbor or that one dreamy movie star, but you have enough for yourself. Movie and television tell you to want more. Theater tells you to be happy with what you have, because it could always be worse. You could be a pair of star-crossed lovers doomed to die, or a salesman doomed to die. Maybe that's why people like fiction. No one ever dies. Sure, Romeo and Juliet both take the big sleep at the end of the tale, but by the next night they're resurrected, born to die again. And again, and again. I think Romeo and Juliet are still going to be dying long after you and I are dust. Cheating death must be the magic of stories. I don't know that I agree with that. What about all the characters and all the forgotten novels? They're dead now too, right? Seems to me characters are just as mortal as people. You would know. Hello? Did you all hear? Sorry. I thought do you ever have those dreams that just stick with you? You wake up, but it still feels like you're dreaming. That's where I'm at right now. I remember glass breaking. Sorry. Back to the story. One of my favorite things to do is listen when people talk. And I don't mean when they're talking about anything.
All right. End of page.
I love the second paragraph of Max is Max. I think that's beautifully written.
I agree.
And you are
The
right.
first paragraph is some real boomer energy, but that's also, I think, part of
Right? Yeah.
the pretentiousness of the play within the play.
Yeah.
Me trying to make it sound distinct.
But it's true. Like people, I guess people do like these stories because this is what theater is. I mean, I'm sorry, movie theaters are now. It is all this.
Yeah, like you can go see movies like The Lighthouse or.
Well, yeah.
I mean, those are available, but you go and it's like you and two other people in the cinema.
If you're
Whereas
lucky
you go to
enough-
like see Avengers Endgame and it's like packed weeks after the show has started.
It smells of popcorn and pizza, and it's like if you're lucky enough for the good film to even get to your theater, you know,
Yeah.
you're kind of doing it. I love that interjection there.
And I think
And the cheating death. Ooh, I love that. Cheating death must be the magic of stories.
add a little more sarcasm to, else theaters wouldn't be selling as well as they are. Ticket sales are just skyrocketing because even though you are pretentious, you do recognize that theater is dying.
Gotcha.
And dying might be a little harsh for what's currently happening to theater because I mean, I wrote this 6 years ago and it's still, I would argue, happening today.
Yeah.
I think theater is struggling to
Adapt
to the new,
everything.
to everything. You know, it's people. It's that's a whole other argument that we could.
It's
spend
one that
hours talking
I
about.
couldn't have even foreseen coming when you wrote this play 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have even thought that, oh my God, theater has to go through now not only thinking it's dying, but having to adapt to everything that's changing. And it still is.
Because even in this context, it's talking about movie theaters as some like safe haven of like business,
Right.
but like even today, movie theaters are not doing as well as they were even like 2 years ago.
Not at all.
So it's kind of all of us having to reevaluate what does entertainment mean to us.
It's like, will people even go out now for entertainment? Do they all just want it at home? Do they want to make an effort? Usually there's something about going to the theater that is part of it.
That's a form of escapism.
Yeah.
So making sure that sarcasm lands at the end of the first paragraph.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah. People like these things.
I want, sure, Romeo and Juliet both take the big sleep at the end of the tale, but by the next night they're resurrected, born to die again and again and again. I want that to feel like an echo fading away.
Sure.
And then really just kind of linger. I think so. I don't ever sit and watch the shows I write. It's excruciating for me to sit in an audience of people and like if a joke doesn't land, that kills me a little inside. If like I hear a line and it doesn't land the way I thought, like it's excruciating for me to listen to my own shows. But I had to operate the booth for the one act night we did of these, so I was there to witness.
How is that?
All excruciating. It was largely excruciating, but the one highlight I have from actually watching those shows is this. There's this line. I think Romeo and Juliet are still going to be dying long after you and I are dust. Someone in the back row, just like a few feet ahead of me, went, "Oh wow!" Like they turned to the person next to them and said, "Oh wow!" And so my friend Christine told me to cut this line. I'm like, "No, this line is good.
love it.
I love it." So
I think Romeo and Juliet are going to be dying long after. It's true. That's so beautiful. It gives me goosebumps.
And so I just want to make sure that that's another one of those, because Max is Max really does get the best lines, and so that's one of the ones that I just want to kind of let linger, kind of float in the air for a little bit. Cheating death must be the magic of stories. I don't know that I agree, and like make that a really harsh like shift into like your natural voice.
Okay.
I don't know that I agree with that. Like
I don't know that.
I don't know. That's and the you would know. I'll be adding like effects to make it sound like kind of like it's coming from somewhere not entirely. I'm gonna make it sound a little extra fancy.
Okay.
But even slower, like or maybe not slower.
They're dead now too, right? Seems to me characters are just as mortal as people. Another great line.
For you would know,
You would know.
And it might be just a line where like I have you like come back and just do it as its own. Just like lean in as close as you can to the mic and just whisper, "You would know." You would know. Like I want it to be like almost barely heard, and like I'm gonna do a bunch of like effects to make it sound like it's kind of coming from everywhere. So you could be like, you all,
Hello.
you all hear that, because it's the character trying to break through to the actor, to be like, hey, you're dead. In the original version, this was a physical component. It was the original line was Max saying, hey, would anyone like to see a magic trick? Or does anyone know a magic? I don't fully remember, but it was asking about a magic trick, and then the character kind of took over the body of the actor and does a magic trick, and the actor's like, does anyone know how I did that? But
Ooh, I like that.
it was a really cool physical moment, but like we don't get that.
Right.
We can't, and there's no way to convey it
No.
in voice. So I kind of had to think outside the box, and so the character voice is like now like a ghost voice echoing through the rafters.
Okay.
And then so the chunk of Max there at the bottom,
The dreams or the one of my favorite things?
the dreams.
Dreams
So the whisper to happen, that first line back is, oh, did you all? That's something. It's deeply unsettling to you because you know for a fact you heard it, but the ghost audience that you're playing to has no reaction to it, to kind of give you like
Okay.
an imagination thing to play off of. I thought then you have like another kind of noise of neck pain.
Uh-huh.
Do you ever have those dreams just kind of make that very floaty and ethereal, and then where it still feels like you're dreaming? That's where I'm at right now. Take a beat there. I remember glass breaking. Like it's coming back to you and you don't even know what's coming back to you yet.
Okay.
So I remember glass breaking. Sorry, and it's like you trying to like pull. It's another one of those moments of like you like realizing what the fuck is happening. You're pulling yourself back together.
Right.
I think I also want to make sure, in Max is Max, that the Doom to Die, those back-to-backs, should kind of punch those a little more. Because it's kind of like a sick beat that so many characters in theater just fucking die.
Right. Doomed to die.
And it's like offering alternative, or a salesman, doomed to die.
Okay. Yeah. I see what you mean.
It's like almost a comedic beat of like, you could be this, doomed to
Doomed
die,
to die.
or you could be this, also doomed to die. Like,
Right.
Whatever you pick, you're doomed to die, which is,
Yeah.
if we really want to blow it up, you know, the gist of everything. Let's just do this page one more time, because this is also kind of they're all dense pages, so.
Gotcha. Are any of you here with me on this lovely evening? How many of you are at home with your bills, your pets, your life? How many of you hung your troubles at the door and just came for a quality night of theater? That's one thing that bothers me. We go out to avoid our problems. Tell me, the last time you went to a movie, was it to get away or to be reminded about your problems? To get away, why else would you go? But now it's all capes and superpowers and robots taking over the world. The last one might not be a movie soon. We go to the movies to see life bigger and brighter than
Cut that line. The last one might not be a movie soon.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I don't think it adds anything. I think it's not that prescient of a
I agree.
observation, so let's just cut it.
But now it's all capes and superpowers and robots taking over the world. We go to the movies to see life bigger and brighter than it possibly can be. But anytime you go to the theater anymore, it's all depressing. I think it's hard to watch. But I guess people like these types of stories, else theaters wouldn't be selling as well as they are. Ticket sales are just skyrocketing. Theater is magical that way. It can transport you to whole new places, teach you new things. It can teach you to appreciate what you have in life. You may not have as much as your neighbor or that one dreamy movie star, but you have enough for yourself. Movie and television tell you to want more. Theater tells you to be happy with what you have, because it could always be worse. You could be a pair of star-crossed lovers, doomed to die. Or a salesman, doomed to die.
Good.
Maybe that's why people like fiction. No one ever dies. Sure, Romeo and Juliet both take the big sleep at the end of the tale, but by the next night they're resurrected, born to die again and again and again. I think Romeo and Juliet are still going to be dying long after you and I are dust. Cheating death must be the magic of stories. I don't know if I agree with that.
Perfect.
What about all the characters in all the forgotten novels? They're dead now too, right? Seems to me characters are just as mortal as people. You would know. Hello? Did you all hear? Sorry, I thought I... Ow! Do you ever have those dreams that just stick with you? You wake up, but it still feels like you're dreaming? That's where I'm at right now. I remember glass breaking. Sorry. Back to the story. One of my favorite things to do is to listen when people talk, and I don't mean when they're talking about anything.
Okay. One last note on this page. Max makes another noise of pain between I thought I... Do you ever have those dreams that just stick with you?
Yeah.
Cut the noise of pain.
Okay.
I don't necessarily like it there. Oh, hello.
Well, hello.
Are you doing salad bar? Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, that's right. You told me that. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Goodbye, have fun.
Break a leg tonight.
Break a leg.
So instead of a shift of pain, I thought I... Do you ever have those? I think that just kind of flows a little better.
Got it.
Yeah. Like it's you have that dead air as you. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, talking about this doesn't send me into a panic attack.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm like, oh boy.
Because
you probably have some traumatic flashbacks.
You know what? Hold on. And so that's what that half beat is, and so.
He's almost waking up himself a little bit.
It's like uh-oh. And so it's another page, so it's another step closer to Max realizing that he's dead.
Love that. Do you want me to read that last part? Or go to the next page, or?
Yeah, let's just from hello, did you all...
Okay.
Let's just take it from there.
Hello? Did you all hear the... Sorry, I thought I... Do you ever have those dreams that just stick with you? You wake up, but it still feels like you're dreaming? That's where I'm at right now. I remember glass breaking. Sorry. Back to the story.
And we'll just keep going on to the next page.
One of my favorite things to do is listen when people talk. And I don't mean when they're talking about anything remotely important. I mean the conversation they make to fill air. Kill time. They say such little things that seem so insignificant, but when they're put down on paper, wow. For example, I was sitting at a bus stop the other day, and this pair of friends was there. It was the middle of summer, and it was unbearably hot. The clouds had just rolled in, but the sun was still trying its best to shine through, giving us that lovely midday twilight. When you feel awake, but you could settle for a nap. It started raining, that light drizzle that leads into into tree-breaking rain.
That should be a hyphen between those words. So tree breaking.
Tree breaking. Into tree-breaking rain. You could smell the energy in the air, that crisp copper smell. One of the friends says to the other, "It could all be over by 4." And she was right. The storm could have all been over by 4. She wasn't, for the record. It kept raining until at least 8 that night, so it goes to show, don't get your forecast from a pair of strangers at a bus stop in the rain. But years later, this still sticks out in my mind. It could all be over by 4. It could be. The storm, your streak of bad luck, your shift at work, hell, even your life. Cut off in traffic on the way to work, another victim of a fatal motor vehicle incident.
And then at the very end of the day, after we've recorded everything, I'll have you scream, just because I don't want you to blow your voice out
Gotcha.
early. And so it will be your scream echoing at you from a very far distance away.
Scary.
Yeah. I the tools that I now have. So what we lose in physicality of this piece, we can add in copious amounts of like overwhelming sound effects that really, because I can do some really fun things with the ghost effects.
Hear it.
So that'll be a thing that at the very end of the day, we will do some screaming.
Love it.
But
Love
for
it.
now, we don't need to worry about that.
Okay. Okay. You all heard that, right? That's not part of the show, or if it is, we never rehearsed it. Is it me, or is the air getting a little thin in here? Sorry about that. I just, yeah. Sorry, got really dizzy. Where was I? Anyone? Thank you. Before we go back on, I just like to say, this guy, my character, has a point with the whole memory thing. I think it's really cool what little bits you can recall, just like that. I remember playing with toys as a kid, eating a sandwich on a lunch break, walking down the hallway in 4th grade. I could tell you all about me playing with toys as a kid, but you don't give a crap. I could explain it perfectly, and it still wouldn't matter. But that's fine. That's my memory for me to keep. Finders keepers. Okay, sorry. I'll get back. It could all end at 4. 4 strokes of the chime. Vehicle. Yes. All right. Next. No. No, I'm going to take some time for me. I told you all about the character earlier through the playwright's words. I never told you about me. My name is also Max, ironically. That's ironic, right? I was never good with words. I didn't move much as a kid. Stuck to the same town. Went to the same schools as all my friends all the way through high school. Graduated, went to college, decided it wasn't for me, and dropped out. Got a decent job. Moved, got a better job. Made some friends. Auditioned for this. Now we're here. Oh, and got hit by a car. That too. But that's a small road bump and a pretty...
End of page. Largely good. After another victim of a fatal motor vehicle accident, lose your breath even before that line. So, like you catch yourself and you're like, okay, you just very hard to catch your breath through that line. Is it me, or is the air getting a little thin here? And then, take some time to really pull your breath back together. Sorry about that. I just, sorry. And then, one little thing I want to add. I was never good with, words. Add, a long beat where you forget, towards the bottom of the page. After my name is also Max, ironically. That's ironic, right? I was never good with words.
The word.
I think that's just a fun beat of.
I like it.
I like that. Largely good. Any questions or comments from you on this page?
No, I like this. It
Okay.
feels so clear because of what we've built up to this point.
Okay. So on the topic of your character looking for community, made some friends. Do we want to keep that? Do we want to lose that? Because we have established that you do have at least a friend who cares about you enough to encourage you to audition for this. I mean, we haven't established it yet. That's getting established on the next page.
Right, that's a good question. I didn't move much as a kid, stuck to the same town, went to the same schools as all my peers. He doesn't seem like somebody who has groups of friends. Well, or maybe he was. But
Yeah, and that's part of it, is that he's moved to this new town and he's lost whatever community he might have had.
Exactly.
Which might be the reason or one of the reasons he's suffering from whatever he's suffering from.
Right, so when he said, got a better job, made some friends, auditioned for this, that made some friends. Would we want to change that after he moved and got the better job?
Yeah, I think cut that one, made some friends. Because if he had friends, he wouldn't have needed to audition for this.
Right.
He obviously has a friend that's in the area, apparently, but, we don't need to...
Right.
the audience isn't going to be picking up on
Probably the one who
that
got him the job.
minute of details. But I think this page is good. I think we get the feeling of it. Awesome. Okay. If you want to... I don't know if you want to take a minute to transcribe what changes you have from the other page onto this one, so it's easier for her to read.
Take a quick second to do
Okay.
that.
Then I'm going to run to the restroom while you do so.
Okay.
Here will be another moment that I can cut in the audio.
Ruby commuting. Got it. Okay.
All right. Ready for page 7?
Yes.
All right. Whenever you're ready.
Life. A nice life. So, a good life. So why am I here? Acting. Glad you asked. Truth be told, I auditioned because I was told there would be community. But one of my friends, who does a lot of acting, he was telling me about how if you're feeling lonely, theater is the place to be. Sometimes it's nice to pretend to be someone else. So I Googled auditions in my area and I saw this theater was holding auditions for their season. So obviously I rushed out, got a new outfit, and auditioned. They told me I had a great audition. They're probably disappointed with what they got. I thought I was set. They liked my audition. One of the actors there told me I did a good job as I was leaving. I was already making connections, but here I am, alone, doing a one-man show by myself. No community. Major bummer. I've completely lost track of where I was. Ever since I came out and skipped the first few pages, I've lost all sense of what way is up. There were some more speeches and scenes from the character, but I'm having a really hard time concentrating. It can't be the beer. I've only had 1.5. There's one speech I actually really liked. I can't remember it for the life of me right now. There was something about how we're all tin men walking around with steel skeletons and straw flesh. I wish I could remember it. I think I'll still be disheveled at tomorrow's performance. This is getting ridiculous. What? That's bizarre. It seems I can't find my pulse or my heart. Am I? Death doesn't occur the way you expect. It's always quick. People think of death in hospital beds. Long periods of time where you suffer and wither away. That's dying. Dying is long and painful and happens the moment we're born. Death is quick. It's instantaneous. The brain realizes it has reached its expiration date and it fires on all cylinders. You feel free and happy. Some people claim they've died and come back. They describe your life flashing before your eyes. It doesn't work that way. When you die, you create the world you live in. I hear screaming. If we spirits have offended, think but this, and all is mended. No, that's not me saying that. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your pity. My head is killing me.
So when we go through to record this,
Yeah.
the three on the bottom of this page, the three maxes, I hear screaming. No, that's not me saying that. My head is killing me.
Yeah.
You will read those all back to back to back.
Okay.
And then if we spirits have offended, the Shakespeare stuff, you'll read those back to back, and then I'll be cutting them together to kind of overlap and intercede on one another.
Gotcha.
It's your death and the part of you that's still alive and the part of you that's dead actively wrestling with one another.
I love that.
I also want to cut a line, or no. I want to cut a word.
Uh-huh.
They describe your life flashing before your eyes. Cut that first your. They describe life flashing before your eyes. It's the your life is redundant. The context for the last little paragraph before Max speaks, on the stage version, it's I think I'm still disheveled tomorrow's performance. He's like actively rubbing his neck, and then he's like, that's weird.
What?
So that's the physical component that we totally lose out on.
Yeah.
It's you like rubbing your neck and then like discovering that there's no blood pumping through any of my veins right now.
It's very Death Becomes Her.
Yes. I think that works.
Okay.
I don't really have any notes for that page. We can keep moving.
All right.
This shit's getting folded over. Okay, there we go.
And these first two lines are the end of that one speech thing, right? Where it's all recorded together.
Yeah.
Got it.
So yeah,
I'll include those.
we'll call the end of the scene. Someone help me.
Got it. To be or not to be, that's a question has been done to death, hasn't it? Someone help me in the scene. Got it.
Yeah. So all those maxes will be recorded together, and all the Shakespeare, man, Shakespeare's always been on my peripheral, hasn't he?
Yes.
You can't get away from him.
Okay.
So yeah.
Sorry about that, folks. Sometimes I forget my lines and just throw out the first thing that comes to mind. I'm back now. Where does the actor end and the character begin? When a show closes, how much of a character does an actor take home with them? How much of that actor gets taken with the character? Each night an actor has to die. That has to take something out of them. Please, anyone! If I had a heart attack here on stage, would any of you help? Or would you think it's part of the act? Is there even a doctor in the house? Show of hands, who here could help me if my heart stopped? Aha! That's comforting. Are any of you even there? A death in the family is always hard to swallow. Find out you're the lucky one to pass is even harder. Hey, Max. It's Max. Sad to see you go. Look on the bright side. We get to keep doing this again, night after night after night. Think of all the rediscovery we get to do. Each night is a new miracle. First I find out there's only room temp beer, then I'm dead. What a day I'm having. Are you there, God? It's me, Max. I remember. It's funny, the things you remember. Not your life flashing before your eyes, just the life right up till the end. I remember picking up my keys. I remember getting in the car. I remember driving down the street. I'm on my way to rehearsal. I take a left, a right, straight away. I pull up to the red light. It's funny, I remember every detail after leaving the house. The clock on my dashboard reads 6:27 p.m. Everything is so clear, so precise, so perfect. It's a beautiful day. The sun is setting. It's like the world is daring me to stop and relax. For just 3 seconds, my life is in order. And then, green. Lights, glass, 1,000 paper cuts. I'm so warm, it's like being covered in blankets. That's funny. I don't remember my face feeling that way. My neck hurts. How did I get in the passenger seat? Who's screaming? Is it me? No, I think. The driver. I'm sorry. What for? I feel fine. Really warm. It's actually pretty comfortable. My rearview mirror is on the ground. That's weird. That's not where that goes. Normally I'm in my reflection. That's weird. That's not where that goes. I'm sorry you keep saying that. What for? I'm sorry. Am I saying that? I probably should be. I'm so warm. Someone's telling me not to move. Stay in the car. Why? I'm sorry. Please be quiet. Oh, my head hurts. I am so warm, really tired. Stay with me. There's so many voices. Stay with me. Pain. Stay with me. Scream. Stay with me. Blood. Stay. No. Warm. Comfort. Tired. This isn't so bad. I can sleep now, finally. I'm comfortable. People always say, it's funny how life works. Well, it's funny how death works. It's not that bad, actually. Good night, everyone. Until next time.
Okay.
This must have been so cool to see live.
Hopefully. I don't actually remember too much about how we did this last part.
So in the end here, is he making up? Is he playing out what's going on around him during the scene? And is it happening in his mind around him, or is he getting interjections from character or from actor?
It's this last bit at the end. It's entirely Max's experience.
Got it.
The character Max is Max interjecting, that only occurs when there's a line that indicates Max is Max. So this is this, and then green, lights, glass. This whole thing. If I was being sincere in the way I wanted it to be read, it would have been basically every line would have been its own paragraph, because it's just constant perception shifts. And honestly, we're going to work our way through this, because this is dense. And on the context of this car accident, I actively, to my knowledge, don't recall any of what my own car accident was like. My experience was this: grabbing my car keys, getting in my car, taking a right at this intersection, taking a left, then taking another right to head to play Crafters, and then there's a straightaway.
Right.
At that light on John Deere Road is where I got hit. Or not John Deere Road, Avenue of the Cities. So that's my very active memory of my car accident.
Whoa.
Everything is so clear, so precise, so perfect, 6:27 p.m. That's all my memory. That's all actively what I remember from my car accident. Everything after that, and then green lights, glass, 1,000 paper cuts, I don't know that I remember that, but I pulled it from somewhere.
Yeah.
So how much of this is memory and how much of this is imagined is anyone's guess, quite literally.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I have goosebumps all over my arms.
So the beats, this page is going to take a bit to work through because there's a lot. Yeah. We'll get to the end. Let's start at the top half of the page with sorry about that, folks. These lines between Max and Max and Max and Max's Max is them wrestling for control. It's
okay.
I also want to alter a line. Each night an actor has to die. Change that to each night an actor dies. I think it just flows a little better. Each night an actor dies that has to take something out of them. Because I think, maybe this is me overthinking it, but I think that has to be true on a certain level,
Right.
Each night you pretend to die, however that may be, whether you get strangled or murdered or shot on stage.
You do die.
There is a small, and people, this might be like, you're full of shit, but I think there is something to that, to pretend to die.
Yeah, you do.
And to do that night after night after night has to leave some kind of psychological impression on you.
It does. You mean like the actor die? Like, because the actor has to...
Right, because like each night Romeo and Juliet like
that's
poison themselves or like stab themselves. If you're like truly invested in that moment and acting that moment out,
you die every night.
Yeah, that's a small part of you that does.
Yeah, it has to.
And people who are listening to this who aren't actors are probably gonna be like, you're full of shit. But
yeah, they're like,
honestly, when you're really in that moment, and if you're being honest as an actor and really living that moment, there's something there.
Something dies.
There's something there.
Yeah.
Each night an actor dies that has to take something out of them. Please, anyway, it's you like begging, like, is anyone in this audience of ghosts actually real, or can any of you help me? Because I think there's also a fun and this is a dynamic we lose because we don't have an actual physical audience, but like seeing an actor on stage pleading with an audience for help is a powerful sensation because the audience does nothing.
Right.
They just sit there and look at them because they're like, this is part of the show. That actor could actually be having a panic attack or a heart attack, and they're just going to watch. Because at this point, they're so far into the show that, like, it's all part of the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's but we, unfortunately, we lose that component because we don't have a real audience. But that's the concept that I was going for of, like, an actor pleading with an audience for help, and them, because they're the audience and they're respecting the fourth wall, doing nothing for that actor.
Got it.
Because I think there's horror in that thought. Because if you're an actor and you're on stage and you're having a heart attack and you're like, can anyone please help me? And like they just sit there and watch you in silence.
So good,
that's terrifying.
It's terrifying.
Because you're like, I'm not acting. I need help up here.
I need help.
And they're just all like, he's really good.
I'm buying this. This is
my
convincing.
God, this is some good acting. So that's what Max is experiencing here, is that like he's freaking out. This is a full-on panic attack at this point. Like, am I asleep? Am I awake? Am I dead? Am I alive? Can someone please help me?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, it's an audience of ghosts, but
Right.
like they're just watching impassively.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You're looking at the audience. You're not seeing a smile. You're not seeing any kind of reciprocation of anything. They're just staring at you.
Yeah.
And then the character cuts back in. A death in the family is always hard to swallow. Finding out you're the lucky one to pass is even harder. And then it's the character addressing the actor.
Hey, Max.
Hey, Max. It's Max.
I like that.
So let's do just that chunk before first I find out there's only room temp beer. So sorry about that, folks. Through each night is a new miracle. Let's just do that again.
Sorry about that, folks. Sometimes I forget my lines and just throw out the first thing that comes to mind. I'm back now. Where does the actor end and the character begin? When a show closes, how much of a character does an actor take home with them? How much of that actor gets taken with the character? Each night an actor dies. That has to take something out of them. Please, anyone, if I had a heart attack here on stage, would any of you help? Or would you think it's a part of the act? Is there even a doctor in the house? Show of hands who here could even help me if my heart stopped. That's comforting. Are any of you even there? A death in the family is always hard to swallow. Finding out you're the lucky one to pass is even harder. Hey, Max. It's Max. Sad to see you go. Look on the bright side. We get to keep doing this again, night after night after night. Think of all the rediscovery we get to do. Each night is a new miracle.
Okay. I want to do the inverse of the note I gave you earlier, where you had the and again echoing out. I want the night after night after night to build, because the actor is just thrilled by the prospect of getting to live on forever. He's endlessly entertained by the thought of performing for an audience every night.
Got it.
And so the actor is enthralled that this is now their state of condition, and Max is like, what the fuck is happening? I don't want to do this forever.
Right.
So it's the conflict at the end of what the character wants versus what the actor wants.
I like that.
I think you'll know what to do with that note. Let's just keep moving. Let's just do this next chunk from first I find out there's only room temp beer through for just 3 seconds. My life is order. And the note I want to give you is for just 3 seconds, my life is in order. In the context of our Max suffering from something, depression, anxiety, whatever we want to call it. I want this one sentence to be when that fog totally lifts and they feel fine. Like they are truly at peace and happy for just a moment, and then, they die.
Got it. Yeah.
But, hi, Mid. So I want that moment to just be very serene and gentle, and then from there, we'll get into the rest of it. But for now, oh no, that's fine. Hi, Mid. This isn't going to be comfortable for you with the way I'm sitting, but you know what? Power to you. Am I in your way? Is that what this is?
You're in the way.
This is your spot and I'm sitting in it?
Oh.
Okay. Thank you. They're very sweet.
That's so cute.
Okay. So let's just take it from first I find out to my life is in order.
First I find out there's only room temp beer and then I'm dead? What a day I'm having. Are you there, God? It's me, Max. I remember. It's funny, the things you remember. Not your life flashing before your eyes, just your life right up until the end. I remember picking up my keys. I remember getting in the car. I remember driving down the street. I'm on my way to rehearsal. I take a left, a right, a straightaway. I pull up to the red light. It's funny, I remember every detail after leaving the house. The clock on my dashboard reads 6:27 p.m. Everything is so clear, so precise, so perfect. It's a beautiful day. The sun is setting. It's like the world is daring me to stop and relax. For just 3 seconds, my life is in order.
And for that, for just 3 seconds, add a 3-second pause there. For just 3 seconds.
Love that.
My life is in order. Like, just really just how tranquil that is.
It's like the world is daring me to stop and relax. For just 3 seconds. My life is in order.
That's lovely. Okay. Now comes the hard part. And then...
Green lights, glass.
So...
Do we read through it, or should we break it up?
We're going to break it up.
Okay.
And then everything from... So, okay, how am I going to do this? And then green lights glass, 1,000 paper cuts. I'm so warm, it's like being covered in blankets. That's just a cascade of sound.
Gotcha.
That just all falls on top of each other.
Yep.
Go through every I'm sorry, put in quotes, because that's you saying I'm sorry, I think. Or no, who is it? Hold on.
I'm sorry.
It's the driver who hit you saying I'm sorry. That's what it is.
Oh, wow.
So it's not your voice saying I'm sorry, it's someone else's.
Okay. That makes sense. That it's the guy who hit me.
And so, it's like being covered in blankets. That's funny. I don't remember my face feeling that way. That's you feeling your face, and it's been actively disfigured and deconstructed by the semi. Like, you are feeling where your cheek should be, and you're getting eyeball right now.
Oh, God.
I don't remember my face feeling that way. Is actively like your face does not feel like your face anymore because it's been restructured.
Okay.
Who's screaming? Is it me? No, I think it is you screaming. Because you're in an immense amount of pain. You don't even, you're so far removed from your own body at this point, from all the pain you're experiencing, that like you're hearing you're screaming, but it sounds like someone else.
Okay.
So that's funny. I don't remember my face feeling that way. My neck hurts. How'd I get in the passenger seat? That's a moment of like, wait, what the fuck? Like, it's because there's so many different things that are collapsing in on top of each other here.
Yeah.
So there's like several different strands that we have to pick out. How'd I get in the passenger seat is like almost like a wait, I shouldn't be. I was just in the driver's seat. How'd I get over here? So it's almost like funny to you because it's like, wait, this is not where I was a second ago. And then you're like, who's screaming? Is it me? No, I think the driver. I'm sorry. So it's like, I think is the end of a thought. Is it me? No, I think. The I think is wrong. The no, I think are both wrong because it is you screaming, but like it doesn't sound like you screaming to yourself.
Right.
Who's screaming? Is it me? No, I think. And it's the other issue with this is, as pondering as some of this may be, this all has to be fast and kind of falling because it's like a memory collapsing in on itself.
Got it.
This is dense. The driver, I'm sorry. That's you saying the driver saying I'm sorry. And then you respond, what for? I feel fine. Because you do feel fine because you're in a tremendous amount of shock.
Right.
I feel fine. Really warm. It's actually pretty comfortable. So that's the end of another thought.
Okay.
My rear view mirror is on the ground. That's weird. That's not where that goes. Referring to the rear view mirror.
Yeah.
Then on that's not where that goes. That's you picking up the mirror and looking in it and being like, normally I'm in my reflection because the face you see is so disfigured that you don't even recognize yourself at this point.
Wow.
Then you say, that's weird. That's not where that goes. You're repeating the phrase, but now instead of referring to the rearview mirror, you're referring to your own face.
Okay.
Your nose is where it shouldn't be. Your eyeball is where it shouldn't be. There's something drastically out of place on your face right now.
Okay.
That's not where that goes. That's the end of another thought. I'm sorry. You keep saying that.
What for?
I'm sorry. So, like, the I'm sorries, each one, I want it to be like the exact same sound repeated over and over.
Okay.
So it's just the driver calling out again and again, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, and like increasing in volume, but like the way it feels is the same each time. It's just the volume is different.
Gotcha.
You keep saying that. What for? I'm sorry. Am I saying that? I probably should be. I think that kind of ties in nicely to our whole character has mental illness thing, because I mean, how those people like, I'm not one of them, how people with mental illness are, like, they feel they should apologize for their illness, you know what I mean,
presence,
or for being in the way of the semi that hit them, like, you know what I mean. It's just that little beat of like, what are you, I'm sorry, you're not sorry, I'm sorry,
right.
So that's what that I probably should be is, I'm so warm, somebody's telling me not to move, stay in the car. Why? I'm sorry. Please be quiet. That's you addressing the driver.
Right.
My head hurts. I'm so warm. Really tired. Stay with me. That's the paramedic speaking to you. So stay in the car. Stay with me. Those are yet another voice that have entered into the fray. Some paramedic. Stay with me again. Still the same paramedic. Pain. Stay with me. Screams, stay with me. Blood, stay. And then you cut yourself off with no. Warm. Comfort. Tired. Like, each one of those beats, each one of those words feels like what the word is.
Gotcha.
And then kind of have a beat to land on that. This isn't so bad. I can sleep now. And then that finally is you finally, my mental okay, hold on. I don't like the sentence I'm about to say because it feels cheap, but your mental illness has lifted in a sense, because you're dead, so there's no brain to be,
there's no resistance.
There we go. It's I don't if
the only way that he could not offer resistance was to die.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah. Which doesn't really feel like the most uplifting message, but you know what? It's October. It's
October.
It's the spooky month.
The haunting season.
Good night, everyone. Until next time, and then there'll be the sound of a light clicking off, the ghost light, which is a really cool visual that we have absolutely no way to replicate.
Right. I bet it looked really
because
cool.
For the night we did, this was the final show of the night, and so the whole night we had a ghost light on stage that was just on the whole night. And at the end of the night, because it was the last show, he hit this line, "Good night, everyone," click, click, and then it was just perfect darkness, because that was the last light on stage.
I love that. That's so cool.
Because also during this final monologue, from first I find out there's room temp beer, all the lights faded in the room except for the ghost light, so that was the last thing lighting the stage.
Wow.
So it was just the actor acting around the ghost light. Then at the end, they shut it out, so the audience is complete black. The night's over. Really, really powerful visual that we have absolutely no way of duplicating, but it's fine.
I'm excited for the effects, though, like like audio.
Let's do, just because this chunk is so dense, let's just take it from "and then green lights glass."
Okay.
I'll give you what notes I have. We'll probably do it a couple times just because this is a really, really dense section. And then we'll take a break.
Okay. And then green lights, glass, 1,000 paper cuts. I'm so warm. It's like being covered in blankets. That's funny. I don't remember my face feeling that way. My neck hurts. How'd I get in the passenger seat? Who's screaming? Is it me? No. I think. The driver. I'm sorry. What for? I feel fine. Really warm. It's actually pretty comfortable. My rearview mirror is on the ground. That's weird. That's not where that goes. Normally I'm in my reflection. That's weird. That's not where that goes. I'm sorry. You keep saying that. What for? I'm sorry. Am I saying that? I probably should be. I'm so warm. Someone's telling me not to move. Stay in the car. Why? I'm sorry. Please be quiet. My head hurts. I'm so warm. Really tired. Stay with me. There's so many voices. Stay with me. Pain. Stay with me. Screams. Stay with me. Blood. No. Warm. Comfort. Tired. This isn't so bad. I can sleep now. Finally, I'm comfortable. People always say, it's funny how life works. Well, it's funny how death works. It's not that bad, actually. Good night, everyone. Until next time.
Good. The final good night, everyone. Until next time. Very smug, because the characters gain what they want. They get to do this again. They get a next time.
Oh, yeah.
Max realizing they don't get a next time. Their time is up. They're a ghost of the theater now. I liked what you did, but faster. Like, it needs to feel like you're cutting yourself off a lot of the time.
Okay.
So just do it one more time, but
yeah.
Keep those emotions, but it's like a gauntlet. It's not even a gauntlet. It's a sprint, because it's shift, and it's all got to be fast.
Gotcha.
Because
okay.
this should just be totally overwhelming for the audience.
And then green, lights, glass, 1,000 paper cuts. I'm so warm. It's like being covered in blankets. That's funny. I don't remember my face feeling that way. My neck hurts. How did I get in the passenger seat? Who's screaming? Is it me? No, I think. The driver. I'm sorry. What for? I feel fine. Really warm. It's actually pretty comfortable. My rearview mirror's on the ground. That's weird. That's not where that goes. Normally I'm in my reflection. That's weird. That's not where that goes. I'm sorry. You keep saying that. What for? I'm sorry. Am I saying that? I probably should be. I'm so warm. Someone's telling me not to move. Stay in the car. Why? I'm sorry. Please be quiet. My head hurts. I'm so warm. Really tired. Stay with me. There's so many voices. Stay with me. Pain. Stay with me. Scream. Stay with me. Blood. Stay. No. Warm. Comfort. Tired. This isn't so bad. I can sleep now. Finally, I'm comfortable. People always say, it's funny how life works. Well, it's funny how death works. It's not that bad, actually. Good night, everyone. Until next time.
Thoughts, feelings?
Definitely gonna work on that.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm seeing what you're seeing and like what it's supposed to be.
It's very, very difficult.
Because it's boom, 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 and each has to be very real.
It's also kind of I hate when I make comparisons like this, because it makes me sound conceited. It's like Shakespeare, not in the sense that it's like really, really, really well written, but in the sense that like Shakespeare will have a sentence where there will be like 3 separate thoughts in the same sentence, and it's that shift between each that you have to sell. That's what this last chunk is, and it's very difficult because it's like 5 different threads that are like weaving in and on. So this is when we go through to record it, we will probably take several takes at it, because it's the hardest part of the show. Yeah, it's for sure. It's what sells everything. But that holy shit. So we've been rehearsing this for 2.5 hours. Whoa. Yeah, let's take a solid break. Okay. Refresh, get a drink of water, and then we will come back and we will just record it.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Thank you for listening to this week's rehearsal process. The goal of Barely There Theater is to create plays and entertainment for people free of charge, anywhere they want, anytime they want. Subscribe to us for mostly weekly updates with new audio plays, rehearsals, and whatever else might come up. We do ask that if you liked what you just listened to, consider donating to us at our website, barelytheretheater.com. And if you're in a position where you can't afford to donate, that's okay too. Consider passing this episode along to someone who you think will enjoy it. Tune in next time, and once again, thanks for listening to Barely There Theater.